Welcome back, everyone. How can we support our children's mental well-being through the transitions of life?
Licensed therapist and owner of Purple Sky Counseling, Cassidy D is back with us this month to talk with us about this important topic around this time of year, back to school and kids making the transition.
Absolutely. Right now, so many kids are starting back to school this week or next week, and it's stressful for kids and parents.
That's so true. And what would you say, because kids are going through so many different things at different stages, what's the first step?
The first step is actually learning how to step back and learn how to listen to your kids. So many times last week, I'm going to be like, oh, are you so excited to start school next week? And every time I said that, I'm like, wait, I have to stop here because I'm excited for them to go back to school. But they're not just excited. And so when I stopped and slowed down, they told me they were nervous, they were scared, they were excited, they were sad to lose their summer. So it's just more than what I want to hear.
So what are some of those questions that maybe dig a little bit deeper and spark the conversation?
So you have to put your emotions to the side and ask them how they're doing. So what are you excited about? What are you afraid of? What's something good that you did today or that you were worried about today at school?
I liked one of the questions that said, what made you smile today?
Yeah. And those questions are really good about really understanding what's going on in their school day. Because if you just ask, hey, how was school today? You're just going to get the, I don't know. It was fine.
Yeah, so not the yes or no's.
Yes. You have to ask open-ended questions and be more specific about what you're kind of looking for to support them.
What do you respond to, I don't know? I get that a lot from both kids. I don't know how it was.
Well, there's a couple different ways to do it. So one is I'm going to go back and change how I'm asking the question. So I'm going to ask it in a different way and maybe try and get there in a different way. The other one is, hey, are you tired and you don't want to talk about it right now? Can we talk about this later? Or sometimes I'll even say, hey, I don't know is an answer that's okay with this question. I need you to think of an answer and come tell me the answer in a few minutes.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah, and I think sometimes different times of day, you know, your kid maybe doesn't want to get into it right after school, but towards bedtime, they open up a little more. What about when you have an anxious child, you say to establish consistent daily routines, a stability can really help them?
So consistency and routines are actually good for all children, regardless of whether they have anxiety or not. It's good for ADHD, it's good for most people because it gives you a sense of safety. You know what to expect, you know when it's coming. And so kids who don't have control know how to engage in their world. And so when you have a routine, it allows things to be very consistent and it's less fighting between, you know, my kid and me. And the other thing that it does is when you do have to change routines, you have structure to give them information around to change the routine.
I like the tips that you have there. Sometimes your children are visual learners, so having that plan and structure they can see, and then also asking them for help.
Absolutely.
To help plan their day because they get the input and some control back.
Absolutely. And it actually gets them engaged in it, and then it's their decision too, right? So I would approach that like, hey, school's coming. These are the things that have to get done before school. How would you like to set up our plan? Right, so there's still the requirements like get up, brush your teeth, eat breakfast, but they get to help configure how that looks, and then they're engaged in the process itself.
I like that because they so often feel like they don't have control. They're just, we're back to school, here's what we have to do, so how can I help control a little bit of it? What else do parents need to know to feel empowered?
Honestly, a lot of the work that we have to do is about managing ourselves. So as a parent, I have to manage and regulate my own emotional stuff and regulation around this stuff in order to support my kids. So during times of transition, like going back to school, Thanksgiving break, all those things, I know that my kids are going to have more emotional distress before, right in the middle, and kind of the week or two after. So I have to expect higher distress, which triggers me, so I have to manage my emotional regulation so that I can support them.
And I also like how you say, don't hide those tools.
No,
if you say, Mom needs a breath, needs to take it all in, I want to be available for you, vocalize it. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. It's actually really helpful for your kids to see you struggle and for you to give them the tools of what works for you.
Yeah.
Because you want your kids to learn it's okay to struggle and we can get through this. We can get through this together.
You know, I had a moment of that just the other night with my 7-year-old, and I was like, I'm overwhelmed. I was on the verge of tears. He knew it. He saw it. I said, I just have to have space for a minute. I don't want to talk for a minute. And he responded with such empathy. And I thought, oh, that was an important exchange, so that he could come to me and be like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, Mom.
And I can learn from my kids too. Last night we had to do multiplication little tests, and my daughter just had to stop for a minute. She says, it's at the end of the day, so I'm a little tired, but give me a second to focus. And she vocalized that.
No way.
Wow.
And listening to your kids, right? Being active listeners. Our kids are so highly emotional intelligent. They haven't unlearned a lot of their connections to their own body. So if you start to pay attention to when they say things like that, or when you see them start to get flustered, you'll be like, okay, step back, what's going on? Oh, it's the end of the day. Oh, we're an hour late for food. They're starving. Of course they're showing up this way. So it's looking at those pieces that is so powerful for your kids.
Great tips.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I feel better about this week now.
I know, as always. And where do we follow Purple Sky, Cassidy?
You can find me at purpleskycounseling.com or on social media at Purple Sky Counseling. And we have an office in Murray, Heber, and we're opening a new office in Farmington.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
all the
thank you.
places.
Yeah, always love a conversation with you.